Hello everyone, I'm Yumu from Susan's family. Today, I'd like to introduce you to a new design from our Chinese aesthetic series, Dancing Lion Crossbody Bag. This pouch consists of several parts: the main part, the facial features section, the character and strap sections. The main part is divided into the back piece, the front piece, and the seam, 3 sections in total. Let's start with the back piece. It is divided into 2 parts, the fabric piece and the edging. The fabric piece starts with a foundation chain and is worked back and forth. It includes increasing sections, even sections, and decreasing sections. After completion, crochet around the edges in rounds. Several crochet stitches will be applied, all of which are marked on the pattern chart. I won't list them all here. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Take out the corresponding yarn. For convenience in watching, I will use cotton yarn for the demonstration. The colors are random. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the product details page and paper instructions. Start by crocheting the increasing section of the fabric piece. Start with a foundation chain. First, make a slip knot. Then crochet the chain stitches. Refer to the chart for the exact number of chain stitches. After completing the chain, work the first row. Foundation key in 1 stitch as the beginning chain for the single crochet. This doesn't count as 1 stitch. In the second to last chain stitch, pick up the back loop and make 1 single crochet. Then crochet 1 chain stitch. Skip 1 stitch below. Continue by picking up the back loop of the chain and making 1 single crochet, 1 chain stitch. Follow this method. Work 1 single crochet, skipping 1 stitch in between. Chain 1 as a transition between each single crochet. Complete this row. After finishing the last single crochet, you will have completed the starting point. The first row is now complete. We will use the side with the clearer texture as the right side of the entire piece. This means the starting yarn tail is on the left side. Continue with the second row. Foundation chain 1 stitch. Turn the workpiece counterclockwise. Work 1 single crochet into the starting stitch. Note that on the wrong side, the stitches are on the upper left. Then make 1 chain stitch. This should correspond to the edge single crochet of the previous row. The starting single crochet is the added first stitch. Then work below the left chain space. In the skipped chain stitch, pick up the half loop and make 1 single crochet. Make sure to wrap the chain stitch from above together. You can slightly enlarge the loop. Keep its height roughly aligned with the right side. Continue with 1 chain stitch, corresponding to the single crochet on the left side. Then in the next chain space, work 1 single crochet below the chain stitch. Be mindful to wrap the chain stitch from the previous row. Moving down this row, pick up the half loop below the skip chain stitch and make a single crochet. In between, use 1 chain stitch as a transition. Continue to complete this row. After finishing the last chain stitch, work 1 single crochet into the ending single crochet stitch. Make sure to find the correct stitch position. This is an additional stitch. The second row is now completed. Move on to the third row. Foundation chain 1 stitch as your beginning chain. Turn your work over. Work 1 single crochet into the starting stitch. This is an additional stitch. Make 1 chain stitch in the single crochet below the left chain space. Work 1 single crochet. Note that the right side single crochet stitch is above and to the right of the single crochet. Here, you have already worked the additional stitch. Make sure to find the correct position. Continue with 1 chain stitch. In the next chain space, work 1 single crochet into the stitch below. Locate the insertion point here. You can find the position that is 1 row apart. Directly facing you is the braid. Continue crocheting in this manner. For the second to last single crochet, locate the insertion point. It is also below the edge chain. This is the stitch where you have already worked the additional stitch. For the stitch at the edge of the previous row, pull it out a bit. Continue with 1 chain stitch. In the extra stitch from the previous row, work 1 single crochet. On this row, add 1 stitch on each side as well. Row 3 is now completed. Continue with row 4. Foundation chain 1 stitch as your beginning chain. Turn the work. Add 1 stitch in the starting stitch. 1 chain stitch. Continue to pick up the stitch below the left chain, and work a single crochet. Follow the crochet method from the middle of the previous row. Make sure to find the correct stitch position. In this upper right corner, try not to insert in the wrong place. Ensure the texture on both sides looks nice. At the end, add 1 more stitch. Row 4 is now completed. The crochet method for row 5 is the same as row 4. Let's complete it. This concludes the increasing section explanation. Next, we will crochet the even section. Start with row 1. Foundation chain 1 stitch. 1 chain stitch for transition. Turn your work. The second chain stitch corresponds to the single crochet at the bottom edge. Then pick up the stitch below the left chain, and work a single crochet. One chain stitch. For the middle part, follow the previous method to crochet. After completing the single crochet that corresponds to the ending chain space, make 1 chain stitch. This should correspond to the single crochet at the bottom edge. Note that the edge single crochet might be wrapped. You can carefully pick it up for clarity. Row 1 is now complete. Move on to row 2. Slightly enlarge the loop. Turn your work over. Work 1 single crochet into the single crochet stitch that corresponds to the edge chain stitch from the previous row. Make 1 single crochet. Continue crocheting following the previous method. For the ending single crochet, work it into the single crochet stitch that corresponds to the edge chain stitch. That is this stitch here. This is where the 2 chain stitches from the start of the previous row are. Pay attention to positioning. Weave in the top chain stitches as well. Row 2 is now complete. Continue on to row 3. Start with 2 chain stitches. Turn your work over. Pick up the stitch below the left side chain stitch and work a single crochet. In between, use 1 chain stitch as a transition. Complete this row. After finishing the last chain stitch, row 3 is now complete. Move on to row 4. Begin by turning your work and working single crochets directly. Here, you can slightly enlarge the chain stitches. Pay attention to the insertion point. It should be in the single crochet below. Continue crocheting in the middle using the previous method. For the ending, insert the hook into the single crochet on the left side, below, and work a single crochet. Row 4 is now complete. Here, I'll show you how to count rows. On the right side, locate the first row's single crochet. It's right here. Then, in this column and the adjacent column, count the single crochet like this. The first 5 rows are in the increasing section. There are 4 rows in the even section, where no stitches are increased or decreased. This is how you count rows. At this point, you can measure the dimensions of the fabric piece. Compare it with the dimensions given in the chart. If there's a significant difference, you need to adjust your tension and crochet again. You can also compare it with your phone. Each side should be at least 1 centimeter wider than your phone. For the following rows, follow the crochet method used in rows 3 to 4. Work back and forth. Continue crocheting all the way through the rows corresponding to the even section without increasing or decreasing stitches. You can also compare the length with your phone. The ending should extend about 6 cm beyond the phone's length. Adjust the number of rows based on actual needs. Make sure to end the last row on the right side. Refer to the previous demonstration to complete it. That concludes the explanation of the even section. Next, we will crochet the decreasing section. Start with row 1. Foundation chain 1 stitch as your beginning chain. Turn your work. Work 1 single crochet 2 stitches together. First, make 2 incomplete single crochets. Insert the hook into the edge stitch. Draw the yarn through. The first stitch is complete. Continue with the second stitch. Insert the hook under the stitch below the left chain. Pull the yarn through. The second stitch is complete. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook. The single crochet 2 stitches together is now complete. Continue with 1 chain stitch. For the middle section, follow the previous method to crochet. Finish with the last chain stitch. At the position of the ending chain stitch and single crochet, work 1 more single crochet 2 stitches together. First, insert the hook under the stitch below the chain stitch, and into the ending stitch. And work 1 incomplete single crochet in each. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook. The single crochet 2 stitches together is now complete. The first row is also completed. Decreased 1 stitch on each side. Continue with the second row. Foundation chain 1 stitch as the beginning chain. Turn your work. In the starting stitch and the corresponding stitch below the left chain, work 1 single crochet 2 stitches together. Continue with 1 chain stitch. Continue working single crochets in the corresponding stitches. Finish with 1 single crochet 2 stitches together at the end. Pay attention to finding the correct insertion point. When you encounter chain stitch positions later, actually insert the hook into the corresponding stitch below. The second row is now complete. Next, work the third row. Foundation chain 1 stitch as the beginning chain. Turn your work. Begin with the starting stitch. Pick up the stitch and work a single crochet. Continue crocheting using the previous method. Finish with a single crochet in the stitch at the end. The third row is now complete. Move on to the fourth row. Foundation chain 1 stitch as the beginning chain. Turn your work. Begin by working a single crochet 2 stitches together over 2 stitches. Continue crocheting normally after that. Finish with 1 single crochet 2 stitches together over the last 2 stitches. The fourth row is now complete. Continue to the fifth row. Foundation chain 1 stitch as the beginning chain. Turn your work. Work 3 single crochets together in 1 stitch. Begin by working into the first 2 stitches and the corresponding stitch below the left chain. Work 1 incomplete single crochet in each of these stitches. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops in one go. The 3 single crochets together are now complete. Continue with regular crocheting. After completing the ending chain stitch, work 1 single crochet 3 stitches together in the corresponding stitch below the left chain, and the last 2 stitches. Complete 3 single crochets together in 1 stitch. The 5th row is now complete. For the following rows, refer to the chart and work back and forth. Pay attention to decreasing stitches at the beginning and end. When you encounter a chain stitch position, work a decrease. Insert your hook into the corresponding stitch below and continue crocheting. Ensure the texture remains consistent. Let's complete it. End the last row on the wrong side. Finish on the wrong side. This concludes the explanation of the decreasing section. Finally, crochet the edging. Start with the first round. For the end of the decreasing section, foundation chain 1 stitch as your beginning chain. Turn your work. Work 1 single crochet increase in the starting stitch. That is, work 2 single crochets into the same stitch. This completes 2 single crochets into the same stitch. In the chain space, pick up the next stitch below and make a single crochet. Insert the hook into the stitch position and make a single crochet. Continue crocheting in this manner. On the left side, combine 3 single crochets into 1 stitch, then make a single crochet increase. Next, on the side edge, there will be spaces between the rows in the decreasing section. These are roughly at the position of 1 stitch along the edge. Pick up the chain space and work 2 single crochets into the corresponding position. Make it 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Work 5 single crochets. This perfectly completes the decreasing section. Next, on the side of the enlarged single crochet, pick up the stitch position. Work 1 single crochet, then 3 single crochets into the same stitch. That is, work 3 single crochets into the same position. This completes the 3SC in 1. Next, pick up the stitch position of the enlarged single crochet. Alternate between single crochets and 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Continue all the way through the even section without increasing or decreasing. After completing this, on the side of the increasing section, work 1 single crochet increase into the edge single crochet stitch of the 5th row. If you're having trouble finding the right spot, mommy You can count from the first row. There is one single crochet at the edge of each row. Continue to work 4 more single crochets correspondingly. Now we've reached the starting point. Pick up the insertion position for the chain stitch. Work single crochets evenly into each stitch. You can weave in the yarn tails as you go. After completing this section, move to the other side. The crochet technique should be symmetrical to the previous part. Everyone, refer to the pattern and complete the crocheting. In the even section, you can pick up the edge single crochet stitch positions for crocheting. Once everything is completed, at the starting stitch, work 1 slip stitch to join. Pull tight. The first round is complete. Move on to crochet the second round. Foundation chain 1 stitch. Begin from the slip stitch join spot from the previous round. Pick up stitches and work single crochets evenly into each stitch. Finish this round. Once everything is completed, work a slip stitch at the starting stitch. Do not pull too tight. Leave a 10 cm yarn tail and bind off. From the left stitch of the slip stitch join, crochet to the wrong side. Then from the braid where the yarn tail is, crochet to the wrong side again. Adjust a little. This way, the seam will not be visible on the surface when fastening off. Hide the yarn tail on the wrong side. This completes the second round. Finally, crochet the third round. Take out the corresponding yarn. Attach the yarn at any insertion point in the second round. Then insert the hook into the designated insertion point. Crochet slip stitches, matching each one. Do not pull too tight. If your hands are tight, you can slightly enlarge the loop before crocheting. This ensures the fabric is flat and beautiful. After crocheting the last insertion point, enlarge the loop and cut the yarn. Pull the yarn tail out from below the starting braid. Then crochet to the wrong side from the braid where the yarn tail is. Hide the yarn tail along the texture on the wrong side. This completes the third round. The edging is also finished. This concludes the explanation of the entire back piece. Next, we will learn about the front piece. It consists of the fabric piece and the edging. The fabric piece is crocheted back and forth starting with a foundation chain. It includes increasing sections and even sections. The crochet method matches that of the corresponding areas of the back piece. Pay attention to the height after completing the even section. It should be roughly the same as the height of a mobile phone. If there is a significant difference, adjust the row numbers according to the actual situation. End the last row on the right side. Then continue to crochet the edging on the right side. The insertion position for the first round is similar to that of the back piece's first round. The second round is crocheted evenly. At the end, leave about twice the length of the 3 edges of the front piece before breaking the yarn. Pull tight with a slip stitch. Secure with 1 chain stitch. This completes the second round. Then start crocheting the third row. Here, I'll demonstrate the crochet technique with a small sample. Join the yarn at the insertion point, where the second round begins. Insert the hook into each corresponding stitch, and work in joined round. Continue all the way to the symmetrical position on the other side. After completing, stretch the loop and break the yarn. Crochet to the wrong side. Weave in the yarn tail. This completes the edging for the front piece. Everyone, refer to the chart to complete the front piece as well. Finally, sew the front and back pieces together. Here, I'll demonstrate with a small sample. Thread the yarn tail through a sewing needle. Place the front and back pieces with the right sides facing out. That is, the edges. The side where you can see the clear braid-like texture. Match up the starting points for neat and symmetrical sewing. Find the first stitch in the center of the first row of the piece. Then locate the corresponding stitch on the edging below. Secure it temporarily with waste yarn. Then check the stitches on both sides, trying to match them up as closely as possible. Secure at the corresponding position in the third row of the front piece edging. Once the position is confirmed, proceed with the sewing. Here, I'll use the backstitch method. Start by inserting the needle through the center of the corresponding stitch on the back piece. Pick up this half stitch. Then exit from the next stitch. All of them involve picking up these half stitches. Pulling the yarn through. Inserting into the corresponding position on the front piece. Exiting from the next stitch. Then inserting back into the previous exit point on the back piece. And exiting from the next position. Insert into the previous exit point on the front piece. And exit from the next stitch. Repeat this process, picking up stitches accordingly. After sewing a few stitches, pull the yarn tight. And continue sewing downwards. Make sure to pull the yarn tight after sewing a short segment. This will form a three-dimensional side edge around the perimeter of the front and back pieces. Continue sewing downwards using this method. Until you reach the end position. Finally, take the yarn to the wrong side. Tie off and weave in the end neatly. This completes the sewing of the front and back pieces. The main part has now been explained. Next, let's learn about the facial features section. It includes the eyes, whiskers, nose, horns, ears, and accessory assembly. First, complete the crocheting of each part, and finally assemble them together with accessories onto the main body. Let's start with the eyes, then the whiskers. Start with a magic ring. Crochet the eyes counterclockwise. Then crochet while connecting them together. Finally, add the diamond patches. You will need to change colors during the process. Several new stitches are used. All of these are marked on the chart. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Start with a magic ring. After completing it, crochet the first round. Foundation chain 1 stitch to begin. Crochet 6 single crochets into the ring. After that, close the magic ring. Finally, end with a slip stitch in the starting stitch. If you can't find the position, count the stitches from back to front. Pull tight. The first round is complete. We will use the side with clearer texture as the right side of the piece. Continue to crochet the second round. Foundation chain 1 stitch to begin. Pick up the stitches from the previous round and correspondingly make 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Pull tight the yarn tail at the back together. Finish with a slip stitch. Cut the yarn. Any remaining yarn tails can be trimmed off. The second round is complete. Continue to crochet the third round. Join the yarn at the slip stitch position from the previous round. Foundation chain 1 stitch to begin. Make 1 single crochet in the same position. In the next stitch, make 1 single crochet increase. Continue to alternate between single crochets and 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Complete this round. Finish with a slip stitch and cut the yarn. The third round is complete. For the fourth round, The technique is similar to the third round. Everyone should refer to the pattern to join the yarn and crochet. Finally, leave a 30 cm yarn tail before cutting the yarn. For the fifth round, join the yarn at the insertion point from the third round, and crochet a round of slip stitches. This is the same technique used for the last round of the back piece edging. Everyone should complete it. Now, take a look. This is a small sample after completing one eye. Hook the other eye using the same method. Everyone should complete it. Next, work the sixth row. First, take out one eye. Join the yarn in the back loop of the fourth stitch to the right of the yarn tail on the fourth round. That is, the stitch farther away from you. Foundation chain 3 stitches as the turning chain. This counts as one double crochet. Work another double crochet in the same position. Continue by working a 2 double crochets into the same stitch in the back loop on the left side. That is, work 2 double crochets in the same position. The double crochet increase is completed. That is, work 2 half double crochets in the same position. The half double crochet increase is completed. Continue downward, picking the back loops, and working a half double crochet, 2 stitches into the same stitch correspondingly. One half double crochet. Note, place the yarn tail on the wrong side, and leave it for now. Don't forget to insert the hook into the back loop corresponding to the slip stitch position. 3 single crochets. Continue with 3 chain stitches. Take out the other eye. From the right side of the yarn tail in its fourth round, starting from the 8th stitch. Pick the back loops sequentially and work 3 single crochets. One half double crochet. 2 half double crochet, 2 stitches into the same stitch. Two double crochets into the same stitch. After completing, leave a 30 cm yarn tail, and break the yarn. Row 6 is now complete. Next, work the 7th round on both eyes. Here, I'll use the left eye as an example. Note that the left and right here refer to what we see when it's laid flat. Take out the corresponding yarn. For the actual project, use 2 strands of yarn together for crocheting. You can take yarn from both the center and outer part of the skein. Combine them and use as one strand. For convenience in watching, I will continue using one strand of cotton yarn for the demonstration. Find the insertion point for the fourth round on the left eye. This is the stitch to the left of the yarn tail. Join the yarn in the remaining front loop of this stitch. Work 2 chain stitches. Work a slip stitch in the same position. Pull tight. Continue by working 1 slip stitch in the remaining front loop on the left side. That's 2 chain stitches and 1 slip stitch. Pay attention to the yarn tail as you work. Work 1 slip stitch in the next front loop. That's 3 chain stitches and 1 slip stitch. Continue by working 1 slip stitch in the next front loop. Work 4 chain stitches and 1 slip stitch. Now we've reached a position without crocheted stitches. Pick the back loop on the left side. Work 1 DC4 popcorn stitch. First, work 4 double crochets in the same position. After completing, remove the crochet hook. Insert the hook into the first double crochet stitch. Draw the loop that was left through. At the same time, push the fabric forward. Then chain 1 to secure. Now 1 DC4 popcorn stitch is completed. Continue on the next back loop. Work 1 DC4 popcorn stitch. First, work 4 double crochets. Remove the hook. Insert the hook into the first double crochet stitch. Draw the loop that was left through. At the same time, push the fabric forward. Then chain 1 to secure. Now the second DC4 popcorn stitch is completed. Continue picking the back loops and work 6 DC4 popcorn stitches correspondingly. After completing, on the back loop on the left side, work 1 TR4 popcorn stitch. First, work 4 treble crochets. Yarn over twice. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 3 times. One treble crochet is now complete. Continue and work 3 more treble crochets. After completing, remove the crochet hook. Insert the hook into the first stitch. Draw the loop through. Push the fabric forward. Work 1 chain stitch to secure. This completes 1 4DC popcorn stitch. Next, work a Ch1 SL picket, chain 1 picket. Start with 1 chain stitch. Then pick up the chain stitch that secures the end of the popcorn stitch below. Work 1 slip stitch into the front strand. The Ch1 picket is now complete. Continue in the same back loop below. Work another 4DC popcorn stitch. After completing, continue to pick up the back loops and work the corresponding stitches. Pay attention to the position for crocheting the chain stitch. Note the change in the number of chain stitches. At the already crocheted position, pick up the remaining front loops and crochet accordingly. After completing the last front loop position, work 1 slip stitch at the starting joining point. Cut the yarn. Crochet to the wrong side. Weave in ends following the texture. This completes the 7th round of one eye. The 7th round for the other eye is crocheted similarly. Refer to the chart and start from the stitch where the yarn tail is located. Pick the back loops and crochet the corresponding stitches. When you reach the already crocheted position, Pick up the remaining front loops and continue crocheting. Everyone, refer to the chart to complete it. This concludes the explanation of the 7th round. Finally, crochet the 8th row. Take out the corresponding yarn. Continue demonstrating with one strand of yarn for the sample. Find the last popcorn stitch of the left eye. Locate the already crocheted back loop on the left side. From the back, pick up the back loop and join the yarn. You can insert into the chain space. Pick up this stitch. Crochet 1 chain stitch. Then, on the 6th row's starting chain on the left side, crochet a 4 DC popcorn stitch, 3 double crochets, plus 4th DC in the same space. After completing it, pick up the stitch. Correspondingly crochet a 4 DC popcorn stitch. Don't miss this stitch on the left side. When you reach the chain stitch position, pick up 2 strands of yarn from the middle chain. Crochet a 4 DC popcorn stitch, 4 double crochets in the same space. After completing it, continue picking up stitches. Crochet another 4 DC popcorn stitch. When you reach the end with 1 stitch remaining, pick up the edge stitch, and crochet a 4 DC popcorn stitch using 3 treble crochets. After completing it, find the first popcorn stitch in the 7th round of the right eye. Locate this back loop on the right side. Insert the hook from the back. Pick up the back loop and work one slip stitch. Cut the yarn. Weave in the yarn tail. This completes the 8th row. The eyes and whiskers are also finished. Next, let's learn how to make the nose. The new stitch technique used is a HDC 6 puff stitch, 6 half double crochets in the same space. Please watch the demonstration. Start with a magic ring. Then work 2 chain stitches. You can make them slightly loose. In the starting ring, work a HDC 6 puff stitch, 6 half double crochets in the same space. First, work 6 incomplete half double crochets. Yarn over. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Enlarge the loop to align roughly with the right side. The first stitch is complete. Continue to the second stitch. Yarn over. You can press the yarn with your finger to prevent the loop from shortening. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Enlarge the loop. The second stitch is complete. Continue and work 4 more stitches. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops in once. The right side should stand out forward. The puff stitch made with 6 half double crochets is completed. Finally, leave a 10 cm yarn tail and cut the yarn. Pull tight. Close the magic ring. Make sure to pull tight here as well. Ensure the right side faces out. Tie a knot with the beginning and ending yarn tails. That completes one nose. Do the same for the other one, crochet and tie off. Next, let's learn how to make the corners. Start with a magic ring and crochet in rounds. Before we begin, let's go over the chart. In the chart, our plus number indicates the round number. The column labeled Stitch Instructions shows the stitch patterns needed for crocheting the current round, along with any increases or decreases. The Total Stitches column shows the total number of stitches after completing all the stitches in the current round. The stitch techniques used include X single crochet, V 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Now, please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. The starting point in the chart is Mr. This indicates that the cast-on method is the magic ring. Start with a magic ring. Next, crochet the first round. Our 1 is 3x. The number before the stitch symbol indicates how many stitches to make. So you will crochet the corresponding number of stitches. This means crocheting 3 single crochets into the magic ring. First, make 1 chain stitch as the beginning chain for the single crochet. This turning chain is not indicated in the chart. When actually crocheting in rounds, you always start with a beginning chain. Then, inside the magic ring, crochet 3 single crochets. After completing this, check the stitch count. The total number of stitches for each round is marked in the chart. This will not be repeated in subsequent instructions. Tighten the magic ring. Finally, work 1 slip stitch into the first single crochet stitch. Here, the stitch count is small. So you need to be patient while crocheting. Flip the right side to the outside. The joining slip stitch at the end doesn't count as one stitch. It needs to be tightened. The slip stitch is not indicated in the chart. When actually crocheting in rounds, always finish by joining with a slip stitch and pull tight. This completes the first round. We will use the side with clearer texture as the right side. Next, move on to the second round. Foundation chain 1 stitch as the beginning chain. Always make a beginning chain before starting each subsequent round with a slip stitch join. This won't be repeated in further instructions. Pick up the stitches from the previous round. Correspondingly make 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Finish with a slip stitch join. Make sure to turn the right side outward. The second round is complete. Continue with the third round. Even means 1 stitch corresponds to 1 stitch worked. Work all single crochets here. Finish with a slip stitch join. The third round is complete. Now move on to the fourth round. Round 4 is XV times 3. The stitches within parentheses indicate a group. Times number indicates the number of times to repeat the pattern. First, work 1 single crochet. Then, work 1 single crochet increase, SC2 in 1. The first group, XV, is now completed. Continue and finish the remaining 2 groups. Finally, end with a slip stitch join. The fourth round is complete. For the following rounds, refer to the chart to complete them. At the end, leave a 30 cm yarn tail and bind off. Now, let's take a look. Here is the small sample after completing the corner. Next, we'll learn how to make the ears. There are 2 ears in total. Both use the magic ring method to start. You will work back and forth. The process involves switching colors. The stitch techniques used include T-half double crochet and TV-half double crochet, 2 stitches into the same stitch. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crochet method. Start with a magic ring. After completing the magic ring, work the first row. Start with 2 chain stitches as the beginning chain for the half double crochet. This counts as 1 half double crochet. Work 4 more half double crochets into the ring. Pull the ring closed. Row 1 is now complete. We will consider the side with clearer texture as the right side. Continue to work on row 2. Start with 2 chain stitches as the turning chain. Turn means to turn the work over. Turn the work piece. Work 1/2 double crochet into the stitch corresponding to the turning chain. Then pick up the next stitch, and work 4/2 double crochets increased in this stitch. For the last stitch, pick up both loops of the top chain from the turning chain, and complete the crochet. Row 2 is now complete. Continue to work on row 3. Foundation chain 2 stitches as the beginning chain. Turn the work. Begin crocheting the corresponding stitch pattern from the second stitch. End with 1/2 double crochet, 2 stitches into the same stitch. Similarly, work into both loops of the top chain from the turning chain. Row 3 is now complete. For rows 4 to 5, continue to work back and forth while referring to the chart. After completing these rows, leave a 50 cm yarn tail and bind off. Finally, work on row 6. Take the corresponding yarn. The sample continues to be demonstrated using a single strand of yarn. Join the yarn at the turning chain of the previous row. Crochet 4 chain stitches. Work a slip stitch in the same position. Continue picking up stitches. Work 1 slip stitch into each stitch, 4 chain stitches and 1 slip stitch. Complete this row. Fasten off after completing. Hide these short yarn tails on the wrong side. That concludes the crocheting explanation for the ears. Finally, assemble the pieces. Start by securing the ears. Then secure the buttons, eyes, and whiskers. Glue on the patches. Next, attach the nose. After completing, fasten the magnetic clasps. Finally, sew on the horns. Please watch the demonstration. Start by sewing the ears. Thread the reserved yarn tail into a yarn needle. Here, I will demonstrate with a small sample. First, fold down the back piece of the main body. You can use your phone to measure the specific folding length here. Don't press it too tight. Just make sure it fits properly. Place the ears with the right side facing up. Position the beginning stitch towards the middle. Attach it to the folded position of the back piece. Place the ears symmetrically at the edges of the 5th row. About 2 cm away from the edge of the main body. Pay attention to sticking closely to the fabric on the sides. The shape of the ears can be adjusted according to your preference. After confirming the position, sew along the side edges. Try to pick up strands for sewing. Avoid leaving obvious seams. Finally, tie off and weave in the ends. Sew the other ear symmetrically. Everyone complete this step, then take out the buttons, eyes, and whiskers. Here, secure the button in the middle of the folded down back piece. About 3 cm away from the bottom edge. You can also place the eyes and whiskers at this time. Align the bottom edge of the whiskers roughly with the edge of the back piece. The actual project will cover the ears on top. In the sample, the hands are looser here. The crocheted length is longer. It cannot cover the ears. If this happens to you, adjust the position of the eyes and whiskers according to your preference. Just make sure it looks good overall. The sides should align roughly with the main piece. Ensure overall alignment for a neat appearance. The whiskers should extend slightly beyond. Adjust to the most suitable position based on your actual situation. Secure the buttons first. Use the yarn from the main piece for this. Pull the yarn tight when securing. Finally, tie off and weave in the ends neatly. Next, use the reserved yarn from the eyes to secure them. After adjusting the position, secure around the back of the fourth round of the eyes. Then, slightly secure the seventh round as well. Pay attention to not letting any visible stitches show on the right side. When you reach the ear position, you can secure the ears together with the part that overlaps them. After roughly securing, tie off, and weave in the ends on the wrong side. Secure the other eye in the same manner. Everyone complete this step. Finally, sew the whiskers section. Secure the part where it connects to the back piece. Also secure the middle chain stitch area. You can go upwards from there, pick up a little bit, and secure it tightly to the button. Finally, weave in the ends well. This way, the buttons, eyes, and whiskers are all secured. Continue with slip stitches around the eye. And glue a patch in the middle. You can refer to the finished product for the exact position, or place it according to your preference. You can apply a little glue with a needle. Now, take out the nose. Thread the yarn tail into a sewing needle. Find the corner position below the button on both sides. Attach the nose here. Sew it in place by picking up stitches. Be mindful not to sew through to the back piece. Exit below the whiskers. Bring the other thread out slightly to the side. Adjust the position. Tilt it slightly outward. Tie a knot. Try to hide the knot inside. The yarn tail can be hidden along the texture. Alternatively, you can trim it off. Assemble. Install the other nose symmetrically. Everyone can complete this. That concludes the explanation for the nose. Next, secure the magnetic clasps. They consist of two halves. The side with the groove is the female part. Secure it to the front piece. Attach the male part to the center of the backside of the back piece. First, take out the yarn from the main crocheted piece. Pull out one strand and thread it through a thin needle. Fold it in half. Tie a knot. Place the male part in the corresponding position. Align the edge with the circle of slip stitches. Sew and secure it in place. After completing, continue to secure the female part. Pay attention when determining the position. Slightly move the back piece upwards, so that the ears form a shorter front, longer back effect. You can adjust the shape according to your preference. Secure the female part in the corresponding position. The method is the same as for the male part. Complete this step. Finally, secure the corners. Thread the yarn tail through the sewing needle. Place the slip stitch marks at the back. The opening should correspond to the position between the two ears when the magnetic clasps are secured. The corners will stand up perfectly straight. Determine the correct position. And pick up stitches to secure them to the fabric piece. Make sure the position is centered. Pay attention to tightening while sewing, to keep the fabric standing upright. Try to maintain a rounded shape for the opening. Finally, hide the yarn tails. Up to this point, the facial features section is assembled and completed.